If you wanna fool me or do me wrong, then all I say is bye to you. And also suddenly, you chose me. And yes, so suddenly, you broke me. So let's look at it now. Now we can honesty. Or we can turn it around, exposing all the parts to see. And if I lose myself, will you help me? And if I lose myself, will you hold me? Will you help me? Oh, you gotta hear me, please. You have hurt me, and I know it's on me, but it cuts so deep. When the fire burns inside, and I'm giving into pride, just hear me, please, 'cause I'm losing sleep. So let me kiss you goodbye. So let me kiss you goodbye. So let me kiss you goodbye. Let me kiss you. So let me kiss you goodbye. Let me kiss you. So let me kiss you goodbye. Let me kiss you goodbye. So let me kiss you goodbye. Let me kiss you. So let me kiss you goodbye. I need to kiss you goodbye. So let me kiss you goodbye. Let me kiss you goodbye. Why you wanna treat me wrong? 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 No, I won't keep on running. No, I won't keep on running away from you. No, I won't keep on running. Happy Thursday, everyone. Good evening, good evening. If it's good morning, perhaps where you are, good morning too. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming through. This is Music Nights. And our guest tonight is none other than UK-based singer-songwriter Sabrina Chyld. It's a pleasure that we have her as a guest this evening. And she's here. Yes. This beautiful songstress, vocalist. So we're going to be talking with her tonight, getting to know her a bit, perhaps regarding a bit more about her career that we've seen, perhaps in hindsight, that we've seen in some songs featured on or own songs. I mean, some of the collaborations that Sabrina has had, the likes of Andy Compton, the likes of Ed Jazz. So there's quite a good number of amazing producers that she's worked with. So she's here tonight, and the first song that I played is a song that was released quite recently. It was released last year, October. And the title is Kiss You Goodbye. And that's her on the vocals, and that's her song. It's amazing. It's an amazing song. Please go check it out. I did pin on top there on the Jumbotron, the title itself. So please go check out that song and that music. So before I actually give the mic to our guest, let me just give the mic first to the co-host of Music Night, Lloyd, who's also the host of the Deep House Space, which happens every Friday. And yes, we have a bumper lineup tomorrow too. So please join us tomorrow, Friday, 12 p.m. during the day. Lloyd, my good friend, please unmute. Good evening.
Yo, Vox, how's it?
Now, oh, good brother, your side.
My guy, I literally forgot that I have load shedding. So when the notification came on that the space is on, same time the lights went off. So I'm in the dark. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
No, shout out, man, shout out. That's a big thing. Yes, we are facing in this sad, beautiful world that we live in. We have things like load shedding, but let's see how we do for the next 2 hours or so. And without
Yeah,
further
yeah. So
ado,
people must not be surprised when I, go up and down, leave the space, come back. So guys, you must just know network will be having me. But yeah, we'll try to fight it.
no, shout out, brother. On my side, everything is cool. Everything is good. No load shedding. I'm not seeing that in any way. So everything is good my side. Even Sabrina even asked, am I not facing it? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. So as always, the space is a safe space to everyone. Please, everyone is welcome to give their input, especially, I mean, when we have artists from around the world. Perhaps you've always wanted to share or give flowers to them. So the mic is always welcome. You're welcome to grab the mic, or perhaps if you're shy to grab the mic, you can always just use the hashtag, tweet your question or your remark, or even put the question or the remark in the suggestion box. Right? Yes, in the suggestion box, and we will share it with our guests this evening. Before further ado, before I exhaust this wonderful Zulu voice that I have, let's welcome Sabrina to the platform. Sabrina, good evening, and welcome to Music Night.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I'm quite honoured to be able to have the opportunity to be heard and share time with your audience. And yeah, so I'm fully grateful. So thank you so much for the offer.
The pleasure is all ours. I mean, we've created these platforms so that yes, we get closer to these wonderful artists that we've admired for the longest time. So the pleasure is all ours. Thanks to you for accepting our invite, and um, and that we can actually spend some time with you and just to get to know you a bit more. So, how are you doing this evening? I mean, how was your Thursday? I believe it's like 6 p.m. that side.
It's actually 7. It's actually 7 for us over here. My day's been wonderful. I have been at work earlier, so I got back in time. But yeah, I've had a good day. So yeah, thank you for asking.
Sabrina, I always get confused about something.
Talk
So
to me.
which part of Europe are we 2 hours ahead? Because I remember this one time we were talking to Mark Del Ferro, and he was in Netherlands, and we were actually the same time with him.
Right. I think, well, for me, we are obviously an hour. So you guys, it's 8 o'clock for you, and it's 10 past 7 for us. So we're just an hour. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
sure which part would be the 2 hours. Um, but yeah, it's 7 for us here.
no, thanks for sharing. I always get confused by these time zones. Yeah, but yeah, that's just me. So before we go any further, the song I just played was released last year in
Yes.
October. At some point when I was playing it, you also was singing along. I actually wanted to tone it down a bit, but I
I
was
know. I
like,
realized. I realized the mic was on, so I was like, "Okay, you need to turn the mic off, Sabrina. You're singing along to it."
could you please give us a background regarding the song? Thank you.
So, "Kiss You Goodbye" was actually, although it was released last October, I'd actually written that, uh, if I'm right, two years prior to it being released. The producer and I had collaborated on it, like I said, 2 years prior it being released. And due to the changes, obviously, with lockdown, he reached out to me and asked if we should reconnect and actually get that put out. So what we did, what I said to him was I'd really like to support it with a visual, because I'm quite known for the house music and I know the style is almost quite Balearic. So I wanted to create visuals for it before it being released. So I was able to do that, and get it released. So that's why it's done.
And it was released under Deep Soul
Deep Soul
Space.
Space. That's right. That's right.
Is there any relationship regarding you and Deep Soul Space?
There is actually. So I've worked with Deep Soul Space on another track with PM Project. Gave All You Had. I don't know if you guys know that track, which was released prior to that. I would say, oh, let me see. I think it was 2017, and then from having that re-released of Gave All You Had was when we both connected. Aris, his name is the producer, and then we collaborated on Kiss You Goodbye.
No, that's lovely. That's lovely. And the message behind the song, I mean, I know it literally says what it says, but what's the what's the message behind it?
um, well, like you said, the I think the title says it all as well. A lot of the songs that I write, there are inflections of real life experiences, and it's a way for me to be able to release and express myself. So that one in particular was, my heart was hurting, and I wanted to be able to explore how I could heal better. And music is always a great healer for me in many ways. So it birthed. I think with the sound of the track that Aris produced, it gave me an option to explore my emotions in the way that I did in order to write "Kiss You Goodbye." So that's where it kind of the birth of it was from a breakup. um, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, we live on this earth, and these things happen all the time. But I guess as a musician, things that happen in your life, you turn them into art.
All the time. I mean, there's a familiar phrase that I often use is my way of being able to heal, or one of the ways other than meditation and self-healing in my own ways, is to be able to release my emotions. And I tend to explore a lot of the music that I write in that way. So yeah, it's through my art, it's through self-expression. And the funny thing is, when I'm actually performing, usually what happens is, I'm in a certain state of mind. I'm quite an emotional being. I'm sure there's many others who are. And so when I'm writing to music, it sometimes connects to where my state of mind is at. And that particular song at the time, um, I was hurting and wanting to heal. And I don't often, the thing is, I don't often sit down and say, right, I've got this beat, I'm going to be emotional and write emotional music, or write emotional words. I usually gain a feel for the style of the music. And sometimes it just kind of, sometimes words on paper, I'm quite poetic in the way that I write. And it sometimes comes out without me realizing. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes it's conscious. And a particular track that I know done this hugely was Peace of My Mind. And I'm not sure if loads of people or many of you are aware of it. It's quite a popular track. And I know the state of mind at the time. I hadn't actually broke up with the partner that I was with at the time, but the subconscious feeling, I knew that, was being able to express something. So a lot of the time I might feel like I'm in character. I don't know if it's making any sense, but I use third person, so to speak. So sometimes I think about myself outside of it, and sometimes I just want to connect stories, and because I know that people, we all have feelings, we all know what love feels like, we all know how it feels to be hurt. And sometimes when I'm connecting with the feel and the beat of a song, it's what I am subconsciously coming out. So yeah, it tends to just work in that way for me. And then after, usually when it's released, I may have moved on, I may have healed, and I'll think, wow, was I that hurt? Wow, I can hear, right, okay, Sabrina, you really was hurt. And that's usually after. And I used Piece of My Mind as an example of that because it got played so much. Um, and like I said, at the time, I wasn't consciously aware of my state of mind, but it's only after I'm like, okay, I hear you, honey, I hear you.
And I guess that's where also this quote of yours, where it comes from too. There's a quote that says, and it's actually part of your bio on Track Source, that every song that I have written is a piece of my heart and tells a story. I absorb, I create,
Create,
I
I
repeat.
repeat. Yes, yes.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I do. Do you know one of the reasons why that quote is so significant to who I am as an artist and just as a woman and as a being, I'm very sensitive. I work off vibrations, and frequencies and alignment, and I believe in the universe bringing you things and manifestations. And I think my sensitivity can be a downfall, in a sense, and it can be a positive. But this is why that quote I use, is so poignant to me, because I definitely feel, and I do, you know, yeah.
No,
My
I
sensitivity, it's all my
totally get that.
sensitivity. It's all down to that, yeah.
No, absolutely. And I want us to check it back a bit. I would like you to just perhaps enlighten to some of us, and perhaps most people that have never met Sabrina or even know who Sabrina is. So we want to take it back a bit and just start it perhaps from the beginning. Um, so where is Sabrina from? Um, and how did you grow up? This music thing? Is it something that you just caught on to at some point in your life, or was it a natural talent? Did you study for it? So let's just start there. Thank you.
Okay, so um, you asked me where am I from? So I was born and raised in West London, which is in London. Um, my father was a disc jockey at the time. He called a DJ, and my mother used to run a lot of small, intimate club nights back when I was young. So they had numerous amounts of records and would hold parties um, in and around the area. So I was always raised with music. Now I'm an only child, so part of my, I don't know, only child syndrome would be to kind of use books or video cases and pretend to be a drummist, or I would pick up I don't know, the remote control and walk around the house singing to songs, um, trying to gain attention from my parents, but also the only child syndrome, where I would be like, I'm the performer, I want to sing. So I was always raised with music, and I didn't study it, so to speak. However, my early introduction to it was via working with Bugs in the Attic. I don't know if you've heard of them before. Oren Waters and crew, Kaidi Tatum. And I used to go studio to work with the guys and write songs. But I was really young, so I was like, oh, I was about 14, 15 at the time. I just liked hanging around with musicians, particularly drummists and guitarists and pianists. Um, and at school, one of the things that I used to do, and I don't know if this is derived from being an only child, I like making people laugh, I like making people feel good, and I like making people smile. So I used to sing things like Luther Vandross, like popular songs, but because my voice was quite deep for a girl, or I believed at the time I had quite a deep voice, I used to sing these songs for humour. And a lot of my friends would say, "Oh, wow, you sound so good. You should be a singer." But I always felt that a singer had to be, I don't know, high pitched Mariah Carey, kind of Whitney Houston. So I didn't believe that I had the vocal qualities of, at the time, popular music. Um, so I just used to kind of like shrug it off and would be more in tune with wanting to make them laugh. Um, but with my experience of working with Bugs in the Attic in the studio for quite some time, we started to generate. I started to use my writing and my vocals for backing vocals, and we started to generate music together. And once I almost broke the barrier of belief in myself, again, I was very young. I delved more into music from that standpoint. So yeah, it did start from young. I then are you guys still there? Is it? Am I still? Yeah,
Yeah,
hello.
we're still
Yeah.
here. No, we're
Okay.
still here.
um, and then later on, um, I got. So I used to go to a lot of clubs just to party, and at the time in London, the house scene sort of developed a lot in my younger years, and people like Barbara Tucker, Martha Walsh, beautiful people, and all these kind of songs used to play a lot in the clubs. And because like Crystal Waters, Rosie Gaines, Robin S, I used to sing the songs, being because I worked on the door a lot for the clubs, and I used to sing these songs, and I used to be like, I'm sure I can sing like these women. Like yeah, I feel like I could do this. And a guy called Mark Herman, who later turned out to be my manager, he used to encourage me in my teens. You should be a singer. I'd love to manage you. You've got power in your voice. Um, you could do really well. And so we joined forces in my 20s, I would say, in my early 20s. And he wanted to create a space where he developed me more as an artist. So I used to go training um, like 3 times a week, and he'd hire a space where I could practice using the mic and singing live. And I basically was under development. And so I then began to join a band, and the live element was more of the joy and the love that I had for music at the time. So then I started to do a lot more jazz soul music, and I really became immersed within music a lot more at that stage. And yeah, from him becoming my manager and giving me the opportunity to develop my artistry and self-expression, I actually started to create a soul album, a jazz soul album, which, if anybody has SoundCloud, there are, I believe, 3 or 4 tracks that came from that era, that came from that space. Um, and they are jazz soul songs, but they are the songs that were to um, be developed into my EP at the time. Um, so yeah, I began almost as a singer, as a jazz soul singer, is really where I stemmed from. However, working in the clubs and listening to, like I mentioned, your Barbara Tuckers and all these women that were singing live on in the on oh god in the clubs was the cross between me believing I really like the way they, dance music has got a lot of energy, and so I I sort of said to myself, I want to try. I really want to try house music. Actually, I think I can. Yeah, I think I can do that. So it's kind of been. Am I talking too much?
No,
Oh
you're not.
gosh.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
It's been an organic journey. Definitely been an organic journey. But a lot of people now, obviously, because of the impact that I've had on the house scene, only know me as a house singer. But actually, I originally started off with the soul jazz, and as I said on my SoundCloud, songs like "In My Mind," "It Doesn't Matter," "Be My King," they are all songs that I actually did in my 20s, and they're quite timeless. And I say that they're timeless because I still get people wanting them to actually be released, and they're on my SoundCloud. So if anyone wants to have a go and listen, they can understand what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for so much for sharing. And you're not talking too much. Don't worry, please. This is a very safe space, and we take all of you so gracefully and with so much gratitude. We're so happy and we're so blessed to actually have you here, because this kind of things don't actually happen much, where you're able to interact and talk to one of the best to ever do it. So thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so much. So before we exhaust your voice, before we exhaust your beautiful voice, just imagine now you can't sing anymore. Uh,
What? That's traumatizing.
yeah, that is
I
so
talk a
much.
lot, actually. I am a chatterbox.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I don't mind that. I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all. So I was gonna play a song. I'm gonna play a song, and then we're gonna carry on with the interview with you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the song that I'm gonna play, I can't actually. I've always had a problem with pronouncing this guy's name, right?
Talk to
But
me.
but the title of the song is "Loving That I
Oh, loving
Needed."
that I needed.
Yes.
Okay, I'll help you with that. So, he's very much like a brother to me, and I will say this with the purest part of my heart. You know, anybody that I connect with as an only child, if I connect with you and we have a synergy, I treat you like blood. I don't have my parents. My mother died to cancer. My dad died to cancer. So me walking this planet on this earth alone, I always try to keep my connections pure. And when I do have a connection with anyone that I've met, and it's beautiful and it's solid, I definitely value it a lot. Now, I used to say Ndinga Gaba, but actually the N's silent, so you just say Dinga. His name's Dinga.
Imagine that. Imagine that. I would have literally put in the N there.
Yeah. Well, I used to always go Ndinga, Ndinga, and he'd be like, "Why'd you do that? That's not my name." It's actually just Dinga. Yeah.
So it's just Ndinga Gaba. Is that
Yes.
how you
It's
pronounce it?
yeah, it's a silent N.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome.
If I did say his name incorrectly, the people in the space would have come for me. Hey, they always do. They always do. So I'm gonna play this song and then we're gonna come back and then we're gonna have more chats with you. Is that fine with
Okay.
you?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you so much. Just to enlighten everyone again in the space, music nights, and our guest tonight is the amazing vocalist Sabrina Chyld. She's here with us. She's gonna be here with us for like the next an hour, 30 minutes or so. And please, you are more than welcome to come and grab the mic. As always, please respect everyone in the space, especially the artists. So you're more than welcome to come and grab the mic and perhaps ask your question or share your inputs with us. And because I see there's so many producers actually today here that perhaps would like to work with you. So gents, everyone is welcome to grab the mic and actually come up and ask, how can I work with Sabrina? Or whatever that you want to ask. So I'll play the song now, and let's please enjoy. Ooh, lovely song. That was Loving That I Needed. And this one features our guest tonight at Music Nights, Sabrina Chyld. And it's a song by Ndinga. And he's actually here in the space. He's actually in the space. I guess the gods worked in our favor today. I mean, we have the legend himself in the space as we are actually talking to Sabrina. So look at that, look at that. And I think Dinga, if you are available to speak, please would like you to grab the mic and perhaps share some of your thoughts regarding Sabrina. That'll be lovely. That'll be
That would be
amazing.
awesome. I totally agree.
So I'm gonna give him the mic. I'm gonna send him the
Press
mic.
mic.
I'm gonna share it with him the mic, and we can perhaps hear some thoughts from him regarding this career that perhaps he's also built around you and the music that you have made, and perhaps he might give us some good inputs, some things that we don't know about, some really
Yeah.
nice, nasty things that we can laugh about too. So that was a beautiful song. That was a beautiful song. A lot of house heads love that song. I love it a bit too. Could you give us a background, please, regarding that song?
So yeah, I we Dinger and I connected, I believe, on Facebook, if I'm right. And you know, we spoke about probably collaborating, and he, from my memory, I believe he sent me a track, which wasn't this one, that I liked, and I think, if I'm right, I wrote something to it, and then I sent it, like, I when I'm writing with or when I'm working with new producers, and I work at home, I write a verse and a chorus. I usually write a verse and a chorus just to start with, to see what they feel of the song, if they like it, if they like the style. And from my memory, and Dinga can confirm this, he'd sent me something different, and I'd written a verse and a chorus. And if he's honest and he joins us, which I would really like for him to do, I don't think he was feeling what I initially wrote. So he sent me something else, and he politely. I don't think he didn't say that he didn't like it, but he said, "Oh, I've actually got something else that you might like and that might work," um, which was this one. And the minute I heard um, the music and the feel of the song, I literally wrote it within. There are certain songs that I've written, and for whatever reason, it just pours out. And this one in particular, I think I wrote within 45 minutes, if I'm right. It was literally everything just came out. It just came out. It just came out. In fact, we did two verses, and then I sent it to him, and I said, "Oh, I think I need. There's more. There's more. I'm going to do a third verse." And he was like, "Go for it. Go for it." So yeah, this one was a very quick writing track, and yeah, that's yeah.
Hi, Subs.
Hey,
Hey, everyone.
yay! He's
All
on.
right, all right. So I'll tell you the brutest, honest truth behind this song.
Please go ahead.
All
Please
right.
go ahead.
So what happened was everything that she's saying is pretty accurate, with the exception of I messed up and I sent two songs. No, I sent a song to her and I sent a song to JD and Veda. That was the first song. This is before Loving That I Needed. And it just so happened that JD, I guess, responded first or came back first with the other song.
Are you going to
And
tell
so
them what the other song is? Because I think it'd be interesting for them to know what the actual song was.
that song is now what Beautiful with Josh Milan.
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
imagine that.
yes,
So it
yes.
was that song, and so I felt terrible because it was a lack of communication on my part. So I knew I owed Sabrina a song. And so this came out of it, and actually this ended up being much better fit. So it was a happy mistake on my part.
Loving the honesty.
And I mean, it is an amazing song, and it's a bummer of a song, and quite pleasantly to have you on the space. You released this in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, I think that's
Ndinga?
about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it came out, what was the reception at the time?
It was a good reception, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Sabrina?
Yeah, I think it was a good reception. I think, yeah, from the get go, I think the response worked really well. Did we have to? It Yeah, no. From my memory, it was well received.
Yeah, it did
Yeah.
okay. It did okay in the charts and stuff. The DJs really liked it. Got some radio play, which is also nice. But it didn't do like your track source. Like I think it went top 10 soulful
Yes.
track source. But those charts can be very fickle too. They're not really a true representation of how good a song is or isn't. So
No, lovely, lovely. And regarding the traction of the song, I mean, we're here in South Africa, and there's so many people that love you both. What was the reception regarding the song here in South Africa?
Well, do you want to speak or shall I?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I personally, I have and I'm not just saying this, I have a huge amount of respect for South Africa, particularly as a UK artist. South African listeners are so in tune with the music that has been released on my end. Their warmth, their love, their support has been awesome. And so with this particular track, I know that many of the South African listeners reached out and just almost overwhelmed me with their support of the track, and their love for the words. And it's funny because I don't want to go on too much, but the actual giving me the loving that I needed, that actually was the last part of the writing that I did. So, like I said before, when I was writing the song, everything was coming out. Everything was coming out in terms of lyrical melody, but I couldn't get the last, like I just couldn't get this last line, the hook. I was struggling hugely at the time, and I felt like, oh gosh, I've written this song, but I can't seem to find what it's that last line. I just need that last line. And my partner at the time um, brought me a tea, brought me in a tea. Would you like a tea? And I was like, yeah, I'll have a tea. And and I naturally said, oh, thank you. You're giving me the loving that I needed. And then that was it. I was like, oh, that's the line. That's the line. So when the song released, I have to say a huge thank you to South African listeners and supporters for the love that they've given me, that and received for this track. So yeah, for me, I'm fully grateful. What do you think, Dinga?
No, everything you said is spot on. I actually remember the moment when your partner um, brought you the tea, and I don't remember if we were on the phone talking,
Yeah,
or what. But it was we were like, oh, I got it because he brought me tea and so on and so forth. So I remember that. But in terms of the response from South Africa, like I've gotten a lot of love from Africa for a while now, and so it just really seemed to fit um, the song, the style of the song. It was received really well there. People sang the songs when I played it there, um, and just the undying support of South Africa has been amazing. It's been pretty much a catalyst for what we do, for how we write. Sabrina and I, especially, write musically because we write with South Africans in mind. We kind of like write for your country because so much of the love that we've gotten.
for sure, for sure. And we've even had a remix. on. Was that some cheers? As audience. Even the remix that PM Project done took it to a whole new level for me. And I loved that too. So yeah, there's been a lot of love on it, and yeah, it's been giving me the loving that I needed.
Absolutely fire. Absolutely lovely. I'm glad you received so much love back from us, because we love your music, both from you, Sabrina, and Ndinga. And seeing that Ndinga is also here, so I'm going to ask this question that is actually we are faced with it so many times with so many artists in South Africa regarding accreditation of music, right? So a while back, a beautiful artist by the name of Sio, you probably know her. She's amazing.
Awesome, absolutely
So
awesome.
so most of the songs, right, you make them together, right? So at the end of the day, it's not really Ndinga featuring Sabrina. It's supposed to be Ndinga and Sabrina. So how have you, Sabrina, as a vocalist, right? How have you perhaps come across that? And in terms of the industry, is it doing enough to give that accreditation back to you as a vocalist, as someone who's also producing the song, because you're writing down the lyrics, you're arranging the song, and so how has that happened to you as a vocalist and as a singer?
So it's funny that you asked this question because I've been speaking about this particular point, and initially the birth of me entering into the house scene, I very much, as I said initially, just loved the music and wanted to jump on. Oh yeah, I could do that. I want to sing, and not really having a full understanding of how the industry works, and in terms of like crediting artists and stuff. So my growth within the industry has meant me paying attention to what you're saying right now. And we were having this conversation recently, both myself and Dinga. And I know that when I work with producers, I'm very much wanting to make sure that there is a respect for both and of us who are contributing, particularly when you're collaborating. So yeah, this is an area that my last track, my most recent one, I'm Fine. Um, it's Sabrina Chyld featuring, and I would prefer to focus my energy in that space now because I've learned more. So yeah, it's been a learning curve, and I think a lot of singers have had certain issues surrounding this particular area, because I think I have a strong views on this, to be fair, and I, you know, I'm mindful of how much I speak on it. However, I do think singers within the scene are not always celebrated and respected for the craft in the way that I believe that they should be. So yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think also, just to add on that, I think what we later find out, especially as fans, as supporters of the music, is that um, we don't know, right? So when someone tweets a song and says Dinga featuring Sabrina, where in actual fact it's not featuring, it should be and, because the song is actually both of you. And then you come in like, but this is wrong. But now the problem is that the fan didn't know. The fan didn't know. The supporter didn't know. They're only tweeting the song because that's what they see wherever they sing it, from whatever platform, from whatever streaming services, right? And we are just doing what we see. But what we later find out is that no, this is actually incorrect. Perhaps artists should be doing much, much, much better. But from your side, from your stance, do you feel that the industry, the producers, do you feel that they're doing enough to actually fix these problems?
Wow. In my in the simplest form, no, I don't think that there is enough being done to fix the problems. I had this conversation very, very recently, and I think from my understanding as a singer, I think the business model is not suited enough to support singers, and not everybody understands the business. Not everybody is business minded. Some people focus on their craft, their talent, and their instrument, so to speak, whether it's their voice or whether they play. But I think that a lot, I think particularly, and I'm still learning, so again, I'm mindful of how much I express, but I believe DJs seem to um, get more of the attention than the actual singers sometimes. And one of the good things that I'll definitely, and I'm not just saying this because he's online, but when working with Ndinga, he and we have a few tracks, so it's not just that one. When we do work on music, we often think about ourselves being able to perform it live together because it's both of us. So and we have actually had that opportunity, which I'm always grateful for, um, to be able to perform the song together in a space is for me the pinnacle of what we want to offer. Me particularly as an artist, him as a producer, and obviously him being a DJ. It makes sense for, if we was to come over to South Africa, rather than him just playing his music to the crowd, for him to play his music that he creates with the actual singers of the music, I think is awesome. I think it's part of the essence of being able to um, share the space with that. And I don't know many. I mean, there are a lot of producers that I work with who do this, like Andy Compton. He very much is supportive of the singer joining him on gigs and being able to do that. And I think forget about us, I think for the audience, for the people listening, for the people actually vibing to the music, I think that's what is needed. And I mean, I'm a big fan of concerts, so if I'm a fan of Prince or whoever, and I want to see that artist sing it to me when I'm there. And I believe that there's not, I'm not saying producers don't do that, but not a lot of DJ producers think about the singer in that context, and thankfully Dingo is one of them, so that's why we keep on making music.
And it's good. And it's good that he's also here, because I also want to put him on the spot and ask
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Ask him
Um,
his thoughts on that, because it is a question that we definitely speak on.
yeah, definitely. So,
Yeah, you
Dinga,
could.
from your side, go on, brother. Please
Yeah, you can put me in the
share with
spot, no
us.
problem. So here's the thing, right? I think that we need to be careful of it becoming an issue where it's a producer versus the vocalist. Okay, because it's not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case.
I think what happens is that people get caught up in routine, right? And so if they see a big label and they say, okay, if they even feature the artist, it's going to be, such and such featuring the vocalist. And when you start a new label or you're coming up in the game or whatever, you see and you learn from how your predecessors do it. So if you see, like, and just for sake of this conversation, if you see a DJ Spen record featuring someone, and the DJ Spen has been in the game for 30 years, then you think, oh, you know what? That's the way we're supposed to do it, because that's all part of the learning curve, right? But then you also have to realize that it's a DJ centered world that we live in. and people are always checking for the DJs less than they are for the singers. It's been like that forever. I'm not saying it's right. It's actually wrong. I think that the scene, the market would benefit from everyone getting more shine. But that's not just the singers as well. You also have to remember there are guitarists that play, there are
Mm,
pianists that play, there are
yes,
bassists
yes.
that play, but no one wants to have a conversation about the musicianship. No one cares about the musicians getting their shine as well. So I think it's a conversation where you need to find a way that everyone gets their shine. The singer is just as important as the guy who plays the keys, just as the guy who plays the bass, maybe the person who produced or did drums. They're all equally important in the song. So it's a matter of finding a way that everyone gets their shine as opposed to just a DJ, just a singer, just this, because a lot more goes into just that. I happen to some on a lot of my songs play my own stuff, so I don't have to credit a pianist. But when I do use one, I definitely do. So I think I think the singers definitely 100% need more shine. I think that our scene house music will be better for it because we don't really have a face to the music, so to speak. Okay, you have your Coffees, you have your Louis Vegas, you have all this, and that's cool, right? They're legends. But we don't have a face of a singer that's like, oh, that's house music. Like, okay, we have Monique Bingham, we have an Anane, we have that, but that's more in our little small pond of house music. On a global scale, people who are in pop music, are they looking at us and saying, oh, that's a house singer? Oh, he's a house singer. If that makes any sense. So I think that we need to collectively, we need to work more on communicating about how we best present these projects because we get into this place where we just want to get the music out because we hope something's going to happen from it. And so we will pull back our thoughts on how it should be released or how it should be seen just because we want to get out there. People need to take more ownership of their ability and their contribution to the projects and have that healthy discussion on how it's presented. And then we won't have these problems. And then you don't have an issue where an amazing vocalist like Sio has to put out an album of her featuring other producers because it's going back to the same thing. It's tit for tat now, as opposed to, hey, we're all in this together, so let's be equals in the release and go from there.
Absolutely, brother. And I like the fact that he also touched on the CEO factor. But before I carry on, Sabrina, would you like to add anything to that?
No, yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. And also just to further on say that from your side, Ndinga, seeing that you're a producer and we have so many conferences around the world, your Miami Music Conference, we also have one here this side in South Africa. Do you feel like, as a producer, those conversations happen enough in those conferences? I mean, are they brought up by all these legends that we've been always looking up to? Are they also speaking out these things? Because if I personally always say that if the people who started all these things don't actually perhaps talk about it, these things won't go away. But are these things being talked about in these conferences? Thank you.
Well, I think people do talk about it, but ultimately talk is cheap. You have to put it into action, and I think sometimes, or oftentimes, people get afraid of putting things into action because they're not afraid. They're afraid of how they're going to be received, or if it's going to affect their brand. We're so brand centered these days that we forget about, okay, well, maybe just doing the right thing is probably the best thing to do. So I think that most of the people in the game wholeheartedly want everyone to get their shine, but people are afraid to change the structure, to change the outdated model of how things are released and how we present the music, because they don't want to be looked at as, oh well, oh, that guy wants to do it different, so let's do away with him. We can get another one of him anytime. People are afraid of change because they're afraid how it affects their brand.
Yeah, on point. Even Black Coffee said it last week. Yes, people are afraid of change. They don't want to seem like they've lost themselves, and then they lose their crowds. I mean, that's what happened to him here in South Africa, which is quite sad, and it just doesn't make sense. But Ndinga, thanks for sharing that, brother. Thanks a lot.
Oh,
Thanks
my
a
pleasure.
lot. Back to Sabrina, our guest. So Sabrina, also just moving right along through these questions of mine that I have today for you. Um, as a world renowned artist, I'll say world renowned because we absolutely love you here in South Africa and your music. We've grasped it so much. Do you feel like you are getting the recognition that you deserve? Do you feel like you're getting the accreditation that you should be getting? And I'm saying this because we live in a genre as house music. Yes, as what Ndinga said, that perhaps vocalists are not recognized as much. But from your side, do you feel getting enough flowers? Do you? I mean, you've gotten recognition from the likes of Black Coffee from here in South Africa. But do you feel we're giving you all that you deserve? Thank you.
So, in essence, what I find in South Africa is the welcome and the warmth and the love. It's kind of different in the UK. I definitely have a lot of love from the UK. And what I find from the UK, and this is just my experience, it may not be other singers' experience, is unless there's a rhythm to the music that I'm putting out, I almost feel like the UK tend to, not always, tend to jump on other, almost like South Africa, without sort of the support here. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like drums, I have to thank Drums Radio. They are awesome at always consistently keeping my music alive through the sharing of it. That's from Dawn and Silk. They have been consistent in their support of me as a singer and artist, and I truly do see them as family within the scene. I have huge respect for them because of the consistency. And I think sometimes, um, you know, unless I feel like sometimes, and I might be wrong, but I feel like sometimes unless you've got a new release, you're not as relevant. But I don't feel that it's the same with South Africans. I feel like regardless, I mean, I've got some South African supporters who are so loyal to me, and just because I might be quiet at a certain time, they still have a love. And I feel like in the UK, it's a little bit different. If you haven't had something out in the same way, I feel like they almost write you off. And I think that's the slight difference. Again, that's just my experience. Again, I did say in my earlier talk with you, I am very sensitive. I absorb. So maybe my absorption of that feeling is where that kind of comes in. But it's definitely different. Definitely.
No, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. And right now, I think let's give the mic to one of your fans. Kay never really grabs the mic on our spaces in the evening, but
Okay.
today she grabbed the mic, and I'm guessing she's here just because of you.
Oh,
So
bless.
and we need enough female voice in the
Of
space.
course we
So
do. Yes.
absolutely. And we always actually share that in our spaces that we need some females, but I guess I don't know. We sound so not good as the host. But Kay, good evening and welcome to the space. The platform is yours.
Good evening, guys. Hi, Sabrina. One
Hello.
of your biggest fans. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So
Okay.
cute.
I've got a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you, but I think some of them you've answered them earlier on.
Okay.
Okay, what is the one thing that you want to achieve in your career, and what is one of the best experiences of your life?
Oh, of my life.
Yes, so far.
So are you saying musical life or just life?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, music.
music. Okay,
Yeah,
so the first question you asked is, what do I want to, remind me again, achieve? Did you say?
achieve, yes, in your career.
To be honest with you, music is part of my healing, and I would love to be able to tour with the music and continue making music. I'm currently trying to work towards creating an EP, an album, because I think the body of work, or sorry, the artist that I am, I don't think the work that I've released is a full representation of me as a singer. So I'm
Okay.
trying to bring those two together, the house, the soul jazz stuff. I'm trying to work towards creating an EP. So I would love to have that, and I would love to tour different countries and share the music, and because I really enjoy singing live. I get really excited um when I'm I have a lot of energy, so I get really excited when I'm able to sing live. Like it just does so much for my soul, and also being able to see others singing to the words and sharing the music. I think sometimes as a house singer, you know, you can hear your song on in a club, um but I'm always up for, I'll sing it for you, let me sing it, no, let me sing it live, you want it live. So hence, if the host can confirm that when I first started and he played the track, you could hear me singing.
Absolutely, we heard
And
you.
I literally had no problem with that. I
Yeah.
didn't at all.
So yeah, that's always at the forefront. In regards to the second question you asked, um, just remind
the,
me the question about my
the
life.
best experience
Um,
in your music career. The
in the
best
music,
experience,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Because I was going to say my best experience was becoming a mother. It's a bit too
Oh, that's
serious.
beautiful.
No. Honestly, so thus far I've had quite a few great experiences, and again, I feel like I'm still quite new to the industry, so there's so much more for me to be able to do and explore. But being able to sing live is everything. It really is. And being able to, one of my greatest experiences was being able to sing with Osanlade at the Jazz Cafe,
Oh, nice.
supporting him. Um, Also singing live to audiences, and at a carnival event. So there's been quite a few. Um, and I believe the you know, the industry is big. There's enough space for us all, and I am so open for more experiences to come. I've had a beautiful experience working with Purobeach as well, to be able to travel. So there's many beautiful experiences. I think they all, it's all encompassing, and I'm always grateful for any experience that I have. So it is quite a challenging question to answer, Han.
Oh, sorry about that, but
That's okay.
beautiful
Don't be sorry.
response. And I also wanted to know that what skills have you learned that continue helping you in your career? Like it can be any skills, life skills, in music, anything that just um, continues to help you in your career to make it a smooth ride.
Well, I'm a tenacious person,
Okay.
and so I definitely work hard. I work in education, so I am always working with bettering myself as a person, a woman, and I truly believe that motivating yourself, like consistency in certain meditations, and being able to fill your soul in the best ways that you can, is part of your best way to shine.
Okay.
And being consistent, and always staying, setting your goal, your belief on your goal. It's interesting that you asked that, because I think it was 2016, I believe. In 2016, I bought a loop machine, and I I don't know if this is kind of related to me being an only child, but with my loop machine, I created music, using the mic and my very amateur beatboxing, and um, I believed in it so much that I started to use it as an instrument. And I know that before I posted anything with my loop machine, I kind of went through a little dip of being embarrassed, and people are going to laugh at me and they're not going to like it. And I think, going back to your question, just knowing who you are and having a belief and staying consistent with that is the key. Yeah.
Thank you so much. The last question, I promise, but I think you've answered it. If it wasn't for your music career, which route would you have taken? So I'm not sure if you've answered it by saying you're an educator or in education. But yeah, if it wasn't for the music route, which other route would you have taken?
I definitely am blessed in the journey that I've taken in regards to education. I'm able to
Okay.
touch souls. I'm able to touch the younger generation. I bring music to the younger generation. I teach singing as well. So I definitely have the best of both worlds. By daytime, I am very much surrounded with children and giving back. Giving back to me is part of the beauty in the work that I do. And if it's not in the classroom, and it's not with the younger generation, then it's with you guys through music and sharing of myself. Yes, I've stated I'm an only child, but I definitely am all encompassing in giving and giving of myself. So I definitely have the blessing of being able to share music, write music, and give in that way to the world, and then to the education of children and the younger generation. So yeah,
Thank you so much for
you're
answering my
welcome. Thank
questions.
you, thank you for your questions and your time, hon.
Thank you. Thanks, Vox.
Thank you, Kay. Kay is quite a lovely person that we do so many things with regarding our spaces. So shout out to her. She never grabs the mic on a Thursday evening
Does she
or
not? So
Wednesday
I feel
evening, but
blessed. I'm very blessed. Thank you, Kay.
yes.
You made history, honey.
Thank you.
She did indeed. Before I give the mic to the housewife, another vivid house lover, lovely to see her in the space today. I want to ask Dinga. Dinga, there's a space that we do on Fridays, and it's called the Deep House Space. And I was actually going to share this with Sabrina too. So on the Deep House Space on Fridays, we do a space where if there's a new song out there's an album out or an EP out, we review it on that Friday. So we'd like to invite you to that space, Dinga, perhaps if when you do have some new music out, please.
Well, funnily enough, we have Sabrina and I have a song coming soon with Nathan Adams that we're working on. Um, I think we're still a couple weeks out, right, Sabrina, before we get at least finished.
Hmm.
But I think that this would be the perfect space, pun intended, to debut that song and get people's feedback. So yeah, the moment we have that song finished, we would love to try with you guys and see what you think.
Please, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome to actually come through. We'd love that indeed.
Very good. Then we will do that for sure. You guys will get the first listen.
Thank you. Shout out for that, brother. Thank you so much. I actually wanted to ask that before you go. I'm not sure how long you're gonna be with us, so thanks for sharing that.
No problem. No problem.
As I said earlier, let's give the mic to the housewife. The housewife, good evening. Please unmute. The platform is yours.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Sabrina. I'm a huge fan. I only have one question. I just wanted to know, what's that one thing that you wish you had known, that you know now, that you wish you had known when you were just starting out in the industry?
What's the one thing? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm forever learning. Um, um, the one thing I would have known, you know, I think it kind of goes back to the I absorb and I create sort of line. I think the one thing I would have known is the question that we sort of talked about in regards to featuring and this kind of. I think if I'd known a little bit more, if I was a bit more business minded when I entered, I think that would have been a bit more beneficial to my stance today. Yeah.
The housewife, are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Thank you.
Anything else? Anything? You can say anything, please.
No,
Please.
like
Yeah,
I
it's a
You
said,
good
know,
I'll
question because
say what
you
we've
made me
done.
think, honey. You really made me think because there's quite a lot of things that I've learned and
Yeah,
still
yeah.
learning, you know. But if there's the one thing that I had known then, yeah, I mean, sometimes when you're learning, and it's particularly in the field that I'm in terms of education, you never ever stop learning. And I know that as a singer, I believe my art is limitless in the sense where my voice is my instrument. Therefore, when I come onto the scene and, you know, I'm open to trying new things and working with producers and singers. You know, I love collaborating with others. So I think my naivety to sometimes is a blessing and a curse, so to speak. So yeah, it's a really great question. But yeah, you got me thinking, honey.
lovely,
Glad
lovely.
that.
So, before I give the mic to perhaps someone in the panel, so a question from one of the listeners is that regarding bootlegs, and to make a remix of your song, what are the steps that one has to follow in order to have that song official? Thank you.
So this is another challenging question, a very wide one, because depending on who you're working with and your sort of synergy with the circle producers or the record labels, ideally, I mean, I've had a few tracks that I've had people say, "Oh, I really like that song that you do." Oh, so I'll give you an example. I did a live performance years ago when I first kind of came onto the scene. So it would probably be 2014. I did a performance of a track that I had called Free. When Free came out, I did a live version of Free. And as a writer, you always sing the original, or you always know the original, because the original is the original, and that's the one that you write to, that's the one you create. And I'd done my performance, and it went well. And then someone came up to me and they was like, "Oh, I really loved that song Free, but why didn't you sing the other version?" And I was like, "The other version?" And they was like, "Yeah, you know, the other version, there's another version, and you know, it's my, I prefer the other version." And it's stuff like that that's kind of like the other version. Later on to find out that it was the Ron Trent version that they were talking about, that they wanted. The remix of Free and Ron Trent was absolutely amazing, and loved it to bits. But unfortunately, and unfortunately, I actually had to have that comment said to me in order for me to find out that there was another version, because I hadn't been told that there was a remix. So in reference to your question, there's a lot of there's lots of situations like that where a remix may be done, And sometimes, and I'm sure other singers have experienced this, you're not always aware of the remix being out, and sometimes you're not always aware of the different producers who have done the remix. So that can be a bit tricky, a bit embarrassing as well at times. But again, it's about it. You know, some could fault me for not working hard enough to find out where the music's going. But within this house scene, or however in this house scene, it's so wide, and it can be engulfing and overwhelming. And I think Coffee mentioned this in his interview with you guys. I believe he mentioned that, you know, he's trying to create a space where artists can feel safe to be artists. And, you know, I'm sure I remember him mentioning that, you know, not everyone is business minded, um, and not everyone understands the business, but he would like to make the business safer space for artists so that these things don't always happen. And I'm sure he mentioned a bootleg as well, regarding, you know, going down the right channels and making sure that you've gone to the label and asked for permission. So I definitely remember him bringing this up in his interview last week with you guys. So yeah.
You actually did, actually did. And I think the reason behind the question is that um, right now in SA, we are so blessed with so many producers, so many amazing producers too, and they make the best music. I'd like to attest to that, that we make the best house music in the world. So what is also happening is that um, because they have so much time to make music, they dwell into making bootlegs and making remixes because we love this song so much. Like for instance, I'll mention one. Music Monks. Music Monks made a remix of Dawn Esquire, which is by Ed Jazz, and it's an amazing song. And it's happening a lot. So that's where the question actually rose from. That's where the question came from. Is that what do we do in this instance? Because these young producers are so amazing in what they do, but they're not linked to any major stables. So that's actually what's happening. They're not linked to your Sony or your Universal. So they are just independent artists. So we are finding the problem that it's not easy to reach out perhaps to Sony BMG in the US to request to make a remix of a song by Britney Spears or whatever. So that's actually what's happening in South Africa. That's where the question actually came through from.
Okay.
And I was actually would like to take the same question to Ndinga, but in this regard, Ndinga, from your side, have you come across this a lot, where your music has been remixed, your music has been bootlegged, and if that yes has happened, what has been your response to that? I mean, to these artists, to these young artists, what has perhaps your lecture to them been for them to do better, perhaps in future times?
Well, listen, I think ultimately in a perfect world, the artist should stand on their own 2 feet and create and make a lane for themselves, until it happens, right? But it's not a perfect world. I get it. I've done bootlegs. I don't sell them. I maybe give them out to a couple friends. I do a bootleg of a song that I like because I want to put my little touch on it, and then I just use it for my sets. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I've also done bootlegs where I really like the artist and I've reached out to them and said, hey, listen, I've done a bootleg or I've done a remix. It's unofficial, but hey, here it is for you. I'm not going to sell it. If you like it, great. If not, that's okay too. 99% of the time, I don't get a response back, and that's cool as well. Um, Listen, we do this for the love of music, right? And we want to put our touches on everything. And so if you're doing it from your heart, and you just want to create something because you love this song and you want to put your touch on it and then use it for your kind of like identity in your sets, go for it. I think it's great. I think it's actually flattering for someone to want to recreate a song of mine, People have done remixes of songs of mine when the acapella was out, and it's cool, and I always appreciate it because I know what it's like coming up and maybe not having a mentor or doing this by yourself, and you're trying to find a little leg up that you can, and maybe remixing a song unofficially or whatever to get eyes on your craft. It's part of the game. It's no different than hip hop sampling records. They made hip hop by sampling records, and then until they started getting in trouble, and then they had to get it cleared. It's the same thing. So you have to think of it like house or people creating the bootlegs. We are in our infancy of the trajectory of hip hop. Okay, this is what we do to get in. This is what we do to get seen. We sample with sample based music. We sample, we bootleg, we do whatever. I think it's healthy to do until you start selling it as your own. That's the problem. So if you're honest with it and you at least try to reach out to the artist and say, hey, this is something I did, let me share it with you, that's cool. But once you try to pass it as your own or sell as your own, then that's a problem.
Well said. Well said. I think they should have you on the show too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We should share, we will definitely share an invite. That Ndinga should also come through to our spaces. Thank you for that, Ndinga. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next question from the listeners. So this person says, on your Instagram, you were seen making a piano song, and he's asking, do you find any challenges, perhaps, making a piano song, seeing that the genre is so new and fresh?
Oh, interesting. So I have a collaboration of I have a number of projects that I'm working on at the moment, and my one of them is, yes, the person's right. I am writing or have written an amapiano track with DJ Kwamzi and Ade Smiles. I don't know if you guys are aware of who they are, but I fully enjoyed doing the style. The thing is, as a singer and an artist, I've said it already, I think my art is limitless. I'm a vocalist. I don't believe that I am just limited to one style because, like I said it initially about my early musical experience, I come from a soul jazz era, and then I've evolved into working with house music. So a lot of the music that I try to create, and you can hear that a little bit in Kiss You Goodbye. I want to make sure that I'm exploring different parts of myself, allowing my voice to be challenged, or even though if it's not challenged, just being able to express self-expression and create. I love creating. So yeah, and I will have very much an piano track, which I'm really, really, really excited about. um, so, and that wasn't a challenge, so to speak, because as a writer, um, I like exploring new ways. And again, with the work that I do in education, it's part of, being able to creatively come up with things and explore new areas of learning. It's part of who I am and how I like to embrace the world. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Can't wait to hear that. Can't wait to hear that. And on Amapiano, I mean, when it first really uprooted in SA, there
Hmm.
was there was there was a few discussions, and there still are, regarding Amapiano, because deep house fans didn't really love this genre when it came out. It eventually got to a point where the nation of house music fans literally excluded Amapiano from house music, and I've always said
Oh wow.
Amapiano is house music. So that's a problem. That's really something we've had in South Africa. But what's your stance on this genre? I mean, we've seen how our own artists have taken it to the world. We've seen a couple of concerts around the world in certain places. What's your stance regarding Amapiano?
Oh, I didn't realize what you've just said. You've just taught me something new in regards to how people embraced it. Look, I think whenever you're creating music and it's a feeling, it's an energy and it's a vibe, and if it works, it works. And I think with music and being able to create, it's open to taste, and everybody can have an opinion. And if they don't like it, they don't. But I like it. I like the feel. I like the self expression. I like the energy. The same with um, house. I love house. I love soulful house. I love Afro house. Music is so wide. I love soul. I love hip hop. I love jazz. And I don't like to um, limit the idea behind creating something new and fresh. And I think, if from my understanding, I don't really know how long Amapiano has been around, but I from the minute I've heard it, I love bass. So if you give me a good bass, I'm all over a good bass. It kind of, if it hits my soul in any way, that's the important thing. If it hits my soul, whether it's jazz, whether it's hip hop, whether it's amapiano, whether it's Afro, if it's hitting my soul as an individual, then I'm liking it, and I'm not a follower. I don't particularly jump on trends. Um, if I feel that I can do something and I believe in myself enough, again, I've spoken about that when I used to work on the doors and wanted to sing house music. So if I believe in something, I will definitely work towards doing it. I very much have that determination. And yeah, I think, life is too short, and to limit our ideas and thoughts. I have a positive mindset, so it's not likely that I'm gonna be negative about anything that anybody's doing. Singers, musicians, we all have a story. We all have a part to play in the scene, and we're all contributing in our own way, regardless of the style. I mean, I'm a deep house lover to a soulful house lover to Afro house lover to so yeah. I think it's great.
Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. That there's been enormous backlash. I can tell you. I can
Really?
tell you.
In regards
There's
to what? I mean, just what's the I don't understand. Is it I don't understand. Maybe it's not for me to understand. I don't know. You say
um
backlash. That
yes,
sounds really negative.
absolutely. It is. It is. We've had that. We've had that for, I think, since the John actually just came up, and it's been mostly from Deep House
Okay.
fans.
Okay.
So the Deep House fans have been negative to Amapiano.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this on the space. Perhaps people in the space would disagree with me, but it's been something we've been talking about for the longest time. And that's why
Okay.
I'm even saying that it's been excluded from house music out of all things, and and,
Right.
and that's absurd to me because it doesn't make sense, because it is a part of house music. We can't not have it in house music. But yeah, that's Amapiano in South Africa. I tell you.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, the thing is with a lot of us in the scene are working so hard in the scene to be heard, to be respected, and I think that this may be part of um I don't know, the narrative for some, because I may be wrong, but I feel like maybe Amapiano has had quite a quick success, maybe. And there's a lot of people who have been in the scene and industry and in the industry for much longer and been putting in the work, and respect to us all. um I think Coffee mentioned, I think he mentioned something about a piano, and having a direction, and having an idea of where to take it is a good space to be in. And I think if the piano, I don't know, producers and stuff do have a direction, then that's a positive. However, you know, again, from what Coffee was saying, it's important to be able to, you know, consolidate the sound. And I think us as house singers and house producers and whatnot have worked endlessly to do this. I think, again, publicly, we're not always, you know, it's not the same as the hip hop and, I don't know, R&B scene. So maybe this is part of their distaste. I don't know. It's quite political, so I'll keep
It
my
is.
yeah.
It is. It is. Before asking the next question from our listeners, shout out to Ellie B. So we're gonna have Ellie B as a guest on Music Night on the 30th. On the 30th of August. Yes. So just to close off Women's Month, we're gonna have Ellie B as a guest too. So shout out to her. It's actually in the space. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I like some of these features on Twitter Spaces. We've got some claps for us. So beautiful, beautiful. The question, Sabrina, the question is, and this comes from Meg G Keys. Meg G Keys is a house, deep house, soulful house producer, and he's asking, what are the channels? What are the channels in which one should go through in order to work with you, to collaborate with you through music? Thank you.
At the moment, just reach out to me. I am open to working with producers, as long as once we connect and talk about the music and the projects in mind. Yeah, I'm so open and warm to working with many different producers because, again, I want to be able to. It allows me to expand on my creativity. I think it's always a beautiful thing to be able to align yourself with people who bring out something new within you as an artist, and that's what I'm all about in regards to being able to use the space that I'm in, to collaborate with others. Again, it may have something to do with my, you know, field of work and being with education. I'm a giver, so in regards to working, I'm very open to it. Obviously, I have to like the sound, I have to like the style. It has to work well with what I can bring to the table. But just, yeah, you can either tweet me, reach me. I've got my social media accounts. Many artists have reached out and that's how we start the journey.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. And also, I hope all the other producers in the space actually listening, because we have so much and they're so amazing. For instance, we have Karabo, who's also a producer of beautiful house music. Umgome Zulu is here. Beat Soul is here. Yeah, it's so amazing.
I
There's
like that
so
you
much.
mentioned Beat Soul because I've recently connected with Beat Soul, and that's all I'll say on that one. We've recently connected. I also see Lars is here, and I would love to work with Lars. So, you know, shout out to him. I've also recently worked with. I don't know if you guys have heard Rudicastic.
We actually having him on tomorrow on the Deep House Space.
Okay. So yeah, just reach out and it can work.
Lovely, lovely, lovely to hear that. Thank you so much for that. Let's give the mic. Let's give the mic to Dumisang. Let me give the mic to one of the speakers and hear what they got to say. Dumisang, brother, good evening. Please unmute. The platform is yours.
Good evening to everybody on the space. How are you, everybody? I hope you're good.
Oh, good man.
Um, I actually wanted to ask that Amapiano question. So since the question is posed, I just want to say to Sabrina, you have an amazing voice. We love your music this side. Keep up with the good work. We appreciate you very, very, very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you all hugely. You guys just don't know. I almost feel like I owe you visits, and you will be seeing me very, very soon. So yeah, I appreciate you also. Thank you.
Please, please do, man. And to Ndinga Gaba, I just wanted to say I appreciate you so much, my man. You gave us fire with Drum Science. I love the song very, very, very much.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Shout out to Misang. Shout out, brother. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Thanks for chilling the space. Let's give the mic to Lloyd. Lloyd, the co-host, who's also the host of the Deep House Space. Brother, man, he's been quiet
Yeah,
today. He's been
was
very
wondering when
quiet.
he was going to join in. I was like, don't leave him out. Make him included.
He's been very quiet today.
Come
It's
on,
so
Lloydie.
surprising.
Come on, speak.
I mean, during load shedding, I don't like to say a lot because I'm in the dark.
Oh, okay.
but yeah. I wanted to ask you, Miss Child, before I actually give you a proper question. Why is your personal Instagram private? Because you tagged us and wrote a beautiful paragraph yesterday. I wanted to share it to my story, and your account was private.
Do you know, I I love that you asked me that question, to be fair. I spent many years so I have two accounts. Okay, so Child Sings is dedicated to the music solely, and Miss Child is it's dedicated to music, but it's more about me as a person, my holistic energy, my thoughts, and being as a woman. So I kind of kept it separate for that sense, particularly in the line of work that I do. However, I will answer this. I have moments where I am freely, you know what, I'm going to keep it open. And I'll have maybe a year, 6 months, or whatever of it open. And then sometimes I'm like, no, rein it in and just keep it with the Child Sing. So that's really mainly it. I'll probably take it off soon. No worries.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think I saw Charles Sings
Child Sings, yeah.
today. Yes, I saw it today. I'm like, oh, makes
Yes.
sense. Makes sense.
Yes.
You mentioned at the beginning of this interview that you grew up as an only child, right? So I want to
Yes.
know what influenced you to pursue a career in music.
So my parents' music was always like the backdrop of my upbringing. And like I said, mentioned earlier, my father was a disc jockey, so he used to play music, and he used to run small little clubs. And then my mum used to host um, club parties. But so being around record playing and music playing, and as an only child, you don't really have anyone to play with. So I always used to like I mentioned earlier, take a I don't know, the remote control and pretend I was singing, or pretend I was Aretha Franklin or any of those other artists that my mother and father used to play hugely all the time. So yeah, that was why I enjoyed music so much. It gave me an opportunity to express myself. Some may say I like the attention. You could say that too. But yeah, I began music from just being able to quite extroverted in some ways. So yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. So, musicians back in the days used to use their music as a tool to send a message across the world. Your Bob Marley's, etc. Many of them are still doing that today, like the likes of you. So, what message does your music convey in today's world? Is there a particular audience you're trying to reach?
I definitely, so in regards to the soul jazz um, music that I used to do, there was very much a lot of messages about that I would cover. So I have a song called Blood on My Hands, which was mainly about abuse and violence towards, you know, children or women. And there was a YouTube mini video that I did supporting that. So when you talk about uh, the message, I would definitely say that the style of writing. So this question is a really interesting question, actually, because I found as a writer that the headspace I use for, so to speak, the soul jazz, that the content and my lyrical message, so to speak, is fuller. There's a lot more within it. Um, and I found with some of the stuff that I've written with house, it tends to come from, let's say, heartache, being in love and being free within music, and it's almost like the lyrical style is shifted, where limited. So it's not limited because I necessarily want it to be. It's just the way that I write as a writer, a songwriter. I find that with the soul jazz stuff, there's a lot more layers to my writing ability. So there's middle eights, there's a bridge, there's a verse, there's chorus, then there's, ad libs and all sorts that kind of encompasses the song more, which is not always needed with house music. The most, I don't know, lyrically full tracks that I actually have are, so Free is one of them. Loving That I Needed is another one of them. I think Full Disclosure is another one, but the others tend to be, there's a lot more space within house, so you don't necessarily need to fill it with so much detail, so to speak, and content. So there are, like I said, with music, and hence why I enjoy working with um, producers, because different styles of music brings out different parts of self, and I'm always open to having a message. I actually did a when we initially started the lockdown, I wrote, um there was a lot of public sort of outcry for us as Black people, and I wrote a song dedicated to that, and it didn't get released, but I still have that as part of my catalog. So it depends on the music and what message both myself and the producer is happy to um, give, because I've worked with producers where I might say, oh, let's write about this certain subject, and some might say, oh, that's a bit too deep, we need it a bit lighter. So it's about your synergy. It's about who you're working with. So yeah, the messages are there in some of the music. You may have to go a bit further back to my older stuff, but yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. So you as a writer, maybe Dinga can also answer this one. This notion of writer's block, right? I think especially here. So many writers say they avoid it by maybe smoking weed, maybe having a glass of wine. So you as Sabrina, do you have anything that you drink or smoke to avoid being in that circle of being writer's block? And also, there's many producers on the space. I don't know if there's a producer's block. I've never heard of it. Hence, I wanna hear Ndinga on that one. So you can go first, Sabrina.
No, when you say writer's block, sorry, I'm not understanding the question. If I have writer's block, and what do I do? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm asking if
Wait.
do you have something that you take in order to avoid it? Like if you maybe writing a song and you have like a deadline to say, okay, on Friday I have to be writing like 3 songs. And in order to do that, do you have something that you actually enhance your thinking?
I'll be honest with you, I don't put that type of pressure on myself. one of the things I definitely do as a writer is I write when I am able to write. So if I'm not able to be creative, there's many times I've sat down and said, right, tonight I'm going to write. And if the vibe isn't there, or if I'm subconsciously not connecting with the music, or I might be hungry, I might need to eat. And if I come back and then I'm like, I'm just not connecting. See, it's funny, I actually was writing to a track last night, and I gave it to the producer today, just the verse, and it's really castic actually. We've got a few under our belt, but he listened to it and he said, well, where's the chorus? And again, I said, the chorus is not there yet. You have to wait for that. And I don't put pressure on myself in regards to that kind of thing. If I've got a block, then I'm not aligned to creating, then I'm not going to create. I will do something else with my time. I try not to put that type of pressure on myself, definitely not when it comes to creating. There's sometimes where I mentioned earlier, with one of the tracks that I had from Ndinga, I wrote that within 40 minutes. And then there are other tracks that may take 2 to 3 weeks. I have to go to it on maybe a Sunday. I might start writing the verse, can't really find the chorus. So then I don't push myself. I'll come back to it 4 or 5 days later. I'm not really getting it. Okay, give it a week. And I think organically I work best in that way. So yeah, I hope that answers your question in some way.
It does. Ndinga, does producer's blog exist?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it does exist. I've gone the last, I guess, during COVID, I probably went a good 18 months or so without being able to finish anything. The fire wasn't there. There were no gigs. For me, it was just like I was stuck. And so smoking something or drinking something for me is a complete opposite effect. I get nothing done. So I could never do that. Like I have a glass of wine while I'm producing, and then that's it. After I have a glass of wine, I'm like, okay, yeah, producing is done. Go drink more wine. There's no chemical thing that really um, fosters my creativity. I'm an emotional producer, emotional writer, so I write from emotion and stuff. So I can't like smoke something and then be like, oh, I'm so creative. I may be able to smoke something and listen to a bunch of stuff and then hear things, different things that I wasn't really focusing on, and then maybe that will help creatively later down the road when I'm working. But if I'm working, I have to be straight straight and narrow, focused, on the project that I have to do. But also, like Sabrina says, if it's not there, I don't force it. I let it go. I have songs that are like 5 years old that I still haven't finished because it doesn't feel right at the moment. They're gonna come out at some point, but when it feels right, I'll go there and do it. But there's no drug or alcohol that's gonna make me say, okay, hey, this is gonna help me finish.
Perfect. Okay, last one. Last one. It's not even a question. Maybe it's an opinion from you guys. We've been hosting spaces for over a year now. There's some of our co-hosts. They're listening there. We host many spaces. So, according to you, what does this platform mean to this genre that we're pushing?
Oh, honestly, for me, it's a blessing and it's an honor to be able to, first of all, be invited and be heard, and secondly, most importantly, and I mean this, it's more important for me as a woman, an individual who loves music, is connecting with the people who are listening to it, who are actually whose souls it is touching. um, I've had people say, "Oh, that song helped me get through this," and for me, I'm quite emotional. I'll cry. Really, did that happen? Oh, wow, yeah, I'm so good. I could give that to you, because that's why I'm here. I'm giving it to that. It's not about I don't want to. Everybody's different and everybody's got their own reasons for doing music. It feeds my soul to be able to give back, and it touches another soul. And that's another reason why I work with children. It's another reason why I give back in music, because it's it's give and take, and this is the beauty of life for me is love, and it's at the forefront of what I want to represent as an artist, and as a being. You know, one of the things I do when I go out, I stand with everybody, I'm with the crowds, I'm dancing with it, you know, I'm not, and this is not a criticism against anybody else, but you know, I'm not an artist where I, you know, stand away from the crowd, and I don't know, I like to connect with people, and that's what you know. So for me, it's important, and it's more important using this type of space, being able to speak, being able to hear, being able to connect with those who are listening, who are buying, who. That's what it is for me. I mean, I could write songs all day, sit in my home, and know that it's being played on radio, but that's not. That's not. That doesn't do much for me. What does more is being able to touch souls and shake hands and smile and sing live and see your faces and hear your voices, and know that that's everything. That's really for me. That's why I want to, you know, when I think it was Kay who asked me, you know, what would my goals be? It'd be to tour more. It would be to explore different countries and share music. I did a traveling experience, a solo traveling experience. I took my Luke machine. I worked with children in an orphanage, and I will sing to everyone and anyone because I think, why not?
I think that's it from me, Vokzman. Yeah, I think that's it from me.
Shout out to Lloyd, the host of the Deep House Space. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I just wanted to give a shout out to also Lars. Lars, shout out to Lars and 20 years of Deeper Shades of House. Shout out, man. Thanks for joining the space. Thanks for coming through. I think we also need to share an invite to Lars, definitely. We need
Yeah, yeah, he
to
has to come through as well. Yeah.
definitely. Sabrina, we are 2 hours into music nights, which is, yes, the time we normally spend on our spaces.
Thank you.
I'll just share two more questions there, okay? And then we can close off. Is
Okay,
that
no
okay with you?
problem. Yeah, of course. I told you I was a chatterbox.
Yes, you did say. I'm gonna ask like two general and broaden out questions. First of all, every single year we see streaming services putting out their numbers back, showing where perhaps listeners have be your listeners listening to your music, where they are at, how far reached out your music has done perhaps in the year. Sabrina, on your side, um, do you feel like streaming services are giving enough back to the artists? I mean, we always see how much they give you back in terms of money, and it's really pathetic with the numbers that we've seen. But from your side, has those services worked for you as an artist? And where do you think perhaps they should be improving on also? Thank you.
I'll try and make it as quick as possible. From my understanding, the industry itself makes a huge revenue through streaming. The bottom line is an artist today in today's society can become successful with the services through the recognition of being on those platforms, but it hasn't necessarily been worked for my favor, and that's something that I definitely, to answer your question, I don't think they have done enough. My publishers are the support I get mainly from that in terms of money, but no, it's not always good. Again, I did mention earlier the business model is slightly old and needs changing. So hopefully I've answered that as much as I can.
No, thank you, thank you. I think they're doing really bad.
Yeah, I
They're
haven't made
doing
money
really
from
badly.
streaming, put it that way.
Oh, it's really
I
pathetic.
make my money
It's
for
really
gigs
pathetic.
and stuff. Yeah, it's a shambles, but
Imagine that. Imagine that. Same question to Dinga from your side. Dinga, any thoughts regarding streaming services?
Well, you know, it is what it is. The problem is that we as artists have allowed big business to dictate what we do. So it's a platform that we have, and we need to assume some responsibility for it. Now it's what we can do. It's what we have to do. You know, you have to put music out. You know, music has become more of our business cards to get gigs than anything else. You know, so we can cry all we want about streaming and this and that, but people have no problem paying $9, $10 to stream any song they want per month. You know, but they won't support an artist for even 99 cents on their own on their website. So why are
Mm,
we crying? You know, we're not supporting each other. We're bootlegging stuff, or we're ripping stuff from YouTube, or we're doing all this stuff. We're stealing music from artists anyway. So to now complain about streaming and Spotify when we have all the power to change that narrative, we just decide not to do it because no one wants to take the chance of, okay, well, let me do this on my own, and you know, hopefully, the people who love my music will support me. We are now in a world of convenience. It's easy to
mm,
stream. It's easy to just go there and type up the name, and the music is just right there immediately. We don't look for music. We don't look for anything that's special. So none of it's special anymore. So it doesn't really make any sense to complain about scraps when we continue to put our music on the platforms, right? So if people having problems with streaming or don't like how the artists are compensated, then support the artists. Go to Deeper Shades of House. Sign up for the monthly membership. Support the platform. Support his music. Support the stuff that he puts out. Support us if we put music somewhere where we spend thousands of dollars in studio
mm,
time, maybe
mm,
musicians, all
mm.
these things just to sell the music for 99 cents. The problem is that everyone wants convenience, but and then they complain about the convenience that they're asking. So go out there, support your artists, pay the $9 if they have an album out, pay the $10 if they have, or 100 Rand if they have an album out. Support them and support them wholeheartedly. And then we wouldn't have this conversation about whether or not streaming is paying us enough.
Shout out, brother. Shout out. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Absolutely on point. On point indeed. I see Lloyd. Lloyd, he's got his hand up again. It's not good. Lloyd, unmute, brother.
It's not good. I have
Hey,
a question for Sabrina. It's from Umgomezulu. This wonderful producer is asking that does it not limit writers to choose a specific style of sound? I mean, if someone like David Guetta would request a collaboration, would she turn it down due to not connecting with the style of sound that David Guetta does?
That's a really interesting question, and I'll answer this from the bottom of my heart. If the I I want to say this with the best intentions. If it doesn't connect with me, regardless of who it is, I mean, I might make an attempt to write to it, and I'm not feeling it. Should I still do it? I'm very much a realist, and if it doesn't connect with me or feed me, my heart in some way, and I'm doing it for the purity of the love of the sound, then yeah, I may turn him down. I like all music, so hopefully if that scenario came about, I'm hoping if he reached out to me, he would be able to find the right music that would suit me too. But I definitely wouldn't just jump on something just because of the person's name, and that's the truth.
lovely, lovely. Um, where does what does the future hold for Sabrina?
So Sabrina has been working on numerous projects. This summer has been an influx of new music that I'm working on, and I am super excited um, for the future of music because I did actually take a step back from the industry. I had to for personal reasons, and and a little bit from some of the conversations we've had. in terms of feeling like I needed to get a better grip of the direction I was taking. I've done that now. I've healed some wounds, and I am so excited about what's to come. So I will be sharing new music. When I started the industry, there was an influx of Sabrina Chyld. That influx has come back again. So yeah, look out for my music. I'll be definitely reaching out to you guys. I would love to share the new music when it comes on the space that we spoke about earlier, and stay connected to all of the listeners and anyone who's obviously interested in connecting. Then I'm open to it. But yeah, I'm so excited.
Yes, please do reach out to us when there's new music out. We'd love that. We'd love to have you on again to premiere some of those songs. And Sabrina, where do you see the future of house music at? Yes, thank you.
The future of house music is, it's quite a wide question. I mean, I'd love to see. A part of me feels like if the future of house was respected as much as, let's say, popular music was, then I would be definitely a support of that. Artists being developed more and respected for their craft. I'd love that. Structures and things created so that it was more of a safer space for artists and all those involved. But house is about love, and everybody's there's enough room for us all. So I support everyone who's contributing and creating and making the music, and I want us to continue doing so, with the thought of us all making sure that we all benefit, um, and not just small pockets of us benefiting, so to speak. So yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And before we close, what we will normally do on our spaces is give last remarks regarding the space, give last remarks regarding what we've had, and the time we spent with the artist and the guest. So if you are in the space and you'd like to grab the mic and perhaps would like to give more flowers to Sabrina, the time is now. The time is now, yes. Grab the mic again and just give some love to Sabrina. And then we can all head off to our beds and rest our eyes for the next day, which is Friday. Some of us are going to work tomorrow. Yes. So yes, please, if you'd like to request the mic, please come up, give your last remarks, and we will close the space. I see a few people have come through. Even Lars. Lars, please, if you'd like to come up perhaps and give and share a few words for us regarding Sabrina, perhaps regarding a few collaboration that you would like to work with her. Please grab the mic. I would like to hear you. We'd like to hear you definitely.
Okay.
So let's start with Juice. Okay, we always have a problem with Juice, even yesterday. So Juice, the mic is yours. Yes, it's already unmuted. Please go ahead.
Thank you thank you very much, guys, for the platform. Hi, Sapun, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm good, man. It's the first time I heard of you. You make beautiful music.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Even they played the track that they were playing, loving that I needed. You're such a beautiful
Yes.
thing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And then the question, I only have one question for you. Who are your favorite music producers here in South Africa?
Who are my favorite music?
Producers.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Sorry, it's cutting out.
He says
Producers.
producers, yes.
Producers. Oh, there are so many. There are so many, and um,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be fair for me to pinpoint and name some, but there are so many. To be fair, listen, the South African talent,
Yeah.
whew, it's overwhelming and it's mind blowing. There are there are significant producers out there that definitely musically have a certain ear that is just phenomenal. I love. There are producers that I listen to, like Nutty. I think it's Nutty Nice. Do you say Nice or Nas?
Yo, not nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
you're
do
right.
like listen. I like listening to his stuff when I'm sort of just actually I play it a lot when I'm just in around the house. There are so too many for me to mention, to be honest, and I wouldn't want to do that because the talent, and I'm still finding new producers that I'm working with now, and I'm like, wow, where have you been? So yeah.
Okay. And then have you heard of Wolfgang?
Of who?
Wolfgang.
Ralph Gum. Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Alright.
Yes, of course. He's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You make
Like I
beautiful.
said, there are just so many. You guys have, I think, being the land that you are, the country and where you are, I just think you're. Maybe it's the landscape of the beauty of the culture and the country. I mean, I'm yet to visit. And trust me, I am so excited at the fact that when I do visit, I will be able to join you all in the vibrations of what it is you get. But the talent in South Africa, it's just mind blowing for me. So yeah, I've definitely heard of Ralph Gum.
Okay. And then have you recorded something with Black Coffee?
Have I done something with him?
Yes.
Created musically? No,
Yes.
he's I know he put one of my tracks on one of his mixes. I think that was "Piece of My Mind" 2016, I believe it was, or 2017. I'd love to work with Coffee. Definitely. I know he's aware of me wanting to work with him, so hopefully one day it might happen. But yeah,
Okay.
I like to work with a lot of people. So I'm, you know, we're all still here. We all can still create. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man, you do so beautiful music, Even you must make some tracks of private school Amapion. You must listen to some private school Amapiano, like the likes of Kelvin Mom. Just listen to Kelvin Mom of private school Amapiano. And then
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll DM you so for some projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'll definitely look out. It's
All right.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
Sharing is caring, as they say. So thank you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Juice. I
Yeah.
think I I
Yeah.
I
Hey,
think I need.
juicy.
I think we need to have a chat with Juice
Juice is
regarding
trouble.
him and the mic.
Ish.
Juice
is
is
a
trouble.
big problem. Is a big problem. And I can't believe he asked you, do you know Rough Gum? Like how the hell? How the hell? But anyway, it's Juice. It's
It's
Juice.
okay. It's okay. It's
Let's
all with
give the
love.
mic. Let's give the mic to Martino. Martino Winchester, unmute, brother. Please give your last remarks regarding today's space. Thank you.
What do you mean it's not remarks?
Ah,
Wow.
What's the
come
time?
on.
My time,
Come
Martin. What's the
on.
time? What is the time?
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not. Okay, I know it's 10. In the UK it's 9 already. But anyway, it is what it is. But I had so many questions for Sabrina, man. I was so excited until I laughed at Lloyd when he said he has load shedding, and then boom, I was next in the line. I so have load shedding, but Sabrina, I had so many questions, but there is
Talk
one
to me.
thing
Talk
which
to
I
me. Talk
want.
to me. Come on.
Okay, cool. I know that you're friends. I don't want to mention his name because I have a huge secret guest. They need to be appearing on
Oh dear.
Everything House Music. So please, can you please follow me back so I can DM you your names? There's something that I need you to help me with. You're my last hope.
Okay.
Please,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
want to
yeah.
actually. I
I'm
don't want to
scared.
mention
Should
the
I be
names.
scared?
I don't want to mention the names because they might know. So yeah.
Okay.
If I just no, I don't want to mention the names. You know what? This is between you and me. Just follow me back. There's something that I need. I've been trying to reach these guys, so they haven't actually checked. I'm not sure they've checked their inboxes back in on Facebook, but I did actually give them a private message out there. So please follow me back so I can actually DM you and tell you. And I know
Okay,
one is,
Martin.
and I know one you are actually close to him. So yeah.
I am.
Yeah, you are. You know who you know. Let me just give you. Let me just give you
Oh dear.
his wife's name, Ketty Story. So you know who I'm talking about, right?
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, all
Cool,
right, all right.
cool. Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. My last remarks. Let me just keep it short. I mean, let me just keep it short in his own words. Don't let your friends listen to bad music. I'm out. Peace. He's right there. I know he's watching. He's listening.
We
That was
know you're
amazing. That was
talking
an
about.
amazing question. Wow.
I'm not sure
I,
what's happened.
Wow. It was profound. Like, I just, please ask more questions about secrets. Anyway.
Well, I wish I could. I mean, the time doesn't allow me. I mean, my host doesn't allow me. Look now, the electricity just came back. But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah,
Shut up,
Sabrina,
brother.
yeah.
Shout out, Martin. He's always late. He's always late, and unfortunately, load shedding had him on today. But sorry, brother. We'll have Sabrina back on our spaces, and please be on time next time. If it's load shedding, go to another place where there's some electricity. Please do that. I'll give the mic. Let's give the mic next up to Make G Keys. Make G Keys, brother. Please give us your last remarks. Thank you.
Hey, yo, brothers, what's happening? What good? Hope y'all are
Welcome.
good. Sabrina,
Hello.
hope you well, sister. Yo, Ndiga, it's George for GKs here. Hope you're all good, brother.
Good, brother.
Uh,
Good to hear you.
yeah, sure. Beautiful music, Sabrina. Thank you so much for being the art of the soil and pushing the movement and doing what you do best. Hey, shout out to you and shout out to the agents for having you on the show. We really, really appreciate. I think what you can expect from me. I'll be in touch of you in form of music. I'll just send you the music. Maybe I might send you 10 beats, and then it will up to you to choose because I'm also a music freak or node. Digger and I do that. But anyway,
Oh, 100%. 100%. Sabrina, you need to work with him. The end.
yeah, sure. So shout out to you and looking forward to work with you. Keep up the good work, sister. One love. Hey,
Thank you. I'll look out for you and we'll connect. We'll talk.
for sure. Thank you, gents.
Goodbye.
Shout out to Make G Keys. We actually had him on the Depot Space last week and a couple of weeks back. He drops absolutely amazing music. Shout out to you, brother. Let's give the mic to the co-host, the host of the Depot Space, Lloyd. Lloyd and Ja, please share your last remarks regarding today's space. Thank you.
As you know, Vokzman, we're always holding it down, man. Sabrina and Dinga, shout out to you guys for coming. Actually, let me thank Sabrina for actually bringing you here, Dinga. We've been trying to get you to our spaces, man. Like we get so blue ticked. It's now a norm. So if we send someone a message and then they don't reply, it's like we've just lost network. So yeah. So shout out to you, Sabrina.
Thank you. You're welcome, Lloyd.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you so much, brother. And yes, on tomorrow, Depot Space, we'll have Destino, we'll have Ria Black, we'll have Rowdy SA, we'll have Stocks 107. Yo, so many amazing producers that we're gonna have tomorrow. So if you're in the space, please join us tomorrow at 12 p.m. South African Standard Time. Yes, during the day. Thank you so much. I'll give the mic to Dinga. Dinga, brother, please give us your last remarks regarding today's space, and also seeing that you're also a producer of music. Please do share with us when perhaps you can expect something from your side, some music perhaps that's coming up. Please also share that. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. This is a very cool thing. This is my first time actually hearing about it because I'm not on social super often. Only when I kind of like promote a release or something like that. I've been trying to take a break from social media. So this has been a nice thing. It's nice that you give people the platform to talk and share stories and stuff like that. I think it's very important in this world of instant gratification, so to speak. Of you see pictures online on social media and you think that's the world, how the world works. You actually get to have conversations here, so I really appreciate what you guys are doing. It's very important for us all moving forward to be able to have these conversations and share information. In terms of releases, I have lots of stuff coming up. Kind of rebranding my label, so expect things, with collaboration with Sabrina and Nathan Adams. Some things coming up with JD and Veda, and some other stuff, re-releases of some things. Lots of good music coming out. So yeah, you just have to watch and see.
Shout out, brother. Thanks a lot for sharing that. Thanks for coming through. And yes, we expect. Please, when the music comes out, please let us know. We'd love to host you on our spaces and actually have some of those music being premiered on our spaces. So just to also share a bit about our spaces. So it's been a year. It's been a year that we've been doing this. We have a couple of them. We have a space called Everything House Music, which you also host during the week in the evening, same time, 8 p.m. South African time. We have music nights, which is what we're having tonight, where we explore further in terms of musicians. We host everyone from hip hop to R&B to Mascandi to anything that's related to music. And it's because we, the fans, I've always believed that we don't have these interactions with artists, especially artists that we love so much, that we've always loved, but we've never had an opportunity to give love back to them. The only ways it's always been social media, just maybe tagging them in a song or whatever. But we never have the opportunities to actually talk to you and just talk to you as a fan and as a supporter regarding your music, to also give love back to you, to give you your flowers. So that's what we really just done with our spaces. It's about the artist and it's about the fan, because Twitter Spaces gives both the fan and the artist a way to interact, which is so lovely and so amazing. And I think that's one thing that we need in this world regarding music. We need this interaction between fan and artist, because it's not there. It's not there. We can hear an interview about you on the radio, but it's just an interview on the radio. So we're not really a part of it. So Twitter Spaces has given us that opportunity, and that's what we've done with our spaces. So that's our spaces. So look them out. Look out for them. Dinner, please. As I said, we have one every single Friday. Every single Friday, we do the deep house space, and during the week between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have everything house music or music nights. So those are our spaces.
I think that's brilliant, and I want to say a huge thank you for creating it, because you guys need your flowers for being able to give the space. You know, everyone's got a story, and we've all been through so many different things in so many different ways. Whether it's lockdown, whether it's work, whether it's pain through family stuff. We all go through things, and I think being able to have this. You guys need your flowers. You guys need the recognition for creating it, making it, and giving us an opportunity. I wouldn't be on this if I hadn't been um, listening to Coffee be on this last week, and hearing his story and hearing some of the things he had to say enabled me to um, gain a better understanding and give myself a perspective, and then it obviously allowed me to be on the show. So I think you guys deserve your flowers too. So can we put an applause, that recorded applause, to you guys? There you go.
Now, thank you so much, Sabrina.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And also, just to add on that, I've always felt like perhaps uh, the legends of our game, as a fan, and I'm talking this regarding as a fan, is that there's so many things that they could have done better, but perhaps they had their careers to also look after, right? in terms of this gap between fan and artist. There's so many things perhaps they could have done better in terms of strengthening these relations, strengthening our relationships, making platforms like these where one can get to know you better. One perhaps can get to know if perhaps the song that you made sometime in the 90s, was it really yours? Most of the fans of house music in South Africa, we know music from compilations, right? And by that saying that, some people still say, "Do you remember that song by DJ Fresh?" But it wasn't a song by DJ Fresh. It was a song in a compilation by DJ Fresh. So most of the things that have happened in our house music industry have just come from that. And but we wanna interact. We wanna know these artists now because we wanna really give them their flowers back. And I think that's quite important from my side. As a fan, I don't even make music. I don't make music at all. I'm just a DJ, and I do events and everything else. But I don't make music. But I've seen this gap that we need to close. We need to really close it so that our industries grow larger, our industries become firmer and stronger because we need it. We need it. But that's for me. That's for me. Sometimes Lloyd complains that I talk a lot. He complains most of the time. So I'll give the mic to Sabrina, our guest, for her last remarks regarding today's space. Sabrina, please, for the last time, the mic is yours. Please go ahead. Thank you.
As echoed previously, thank you for giving me the space. One thing I would like to share with everyone is just to be kind and just remember that we all are going through things, personal, private, and we're all learning. Life is beautiful. Remain positive, and let's try to spread more positive energy. The vibrations of the world will do its thing naturally to us, with things going on, with whether it's pandemic, whether it's media, whether it's bills, gases going, prices going up. And I think music is a healer. It's definitely one for me. And I think we just have to be mindful of what we put out. And I definitely would like to encourage all of us to just remain centered in our endeavors and how we interact with people online, how we interact with each other, speaking kindly. If we can try to do this in a more positive way as a collective, I feel like the vibrations of the world will just make us feel like it's a little easier for us to deal with. So again, every single person who's been able to connect with us today, this evening, I thank you all for your time, because you matter, the listeners matter. And yeah, I just think one love. I'm I'm a promoter of love and light to all. We all have a purpose, and we all can share something and gain something. We're all givers in some way. So yeah, thank you, Lloyd, and thank you, hosts, for doing this. Yeah, and I appreciate every one of you, even whether it's positive or negative, it's still learning. I appreciate you all. South Africa, you will see me, and when I come, I have so much to give you all. Honestly, promoters, club events, all of that. I am so open to touching souls on your land with you. Um, from my heart, I thank you purely. So I hope that's my last words. You will see some releases from me. You can catch me on Instagram, obviously Twitter, SoundCloud, Track Source, Beatport, I'd say SoundCloud already. And yeah, the name is Miss Child, or Child Sings. Sabrina Chyld, you'll always find me. Child with a Y, Chyld. And yeah, thank you. huge gratitude and blessings to you all. And I hope you'll sleep well tonight.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Thank you so much. And what I've recently started doing, Twitter Spaces only allows our recorded spaces to be still alive, like for the next 30 days or so. But what I've done is I've started uploading the spaces that we actually have, the interviews that we have with our artists on my YouTube channel. So if you're in the space, just click on YouTube. My tag itself, Vokzman, literally Vokzman, as it is. And I've already uploaded the one from Black Coffee. So the Black Coffee interview is there. I've uploaded the interview we had yesterday with Heavy K. I've uploaded the interview we had with Live Piano Avengers. So those are there. Because I think this content needs to live forever. It needs to be there for our kids. It needs to be there for the next generation to come. This information needs to be shared to the next person, so the next person also doesn't really mess up. Perhaps they can learn a lot from this. So I've taken that my stance to have this live forever. It should. Definitely, because I think it's amazing and it's beautiful. So please go check it out on my YouTube channel. It's there. I'm also gonna put this on. I'm gonna put it on perhaps tomorrow, but it's gonna be there and it's gonna be there forever. So thanks to everyone. As always, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining all our spaces. When you do have time, please join us again tomorrow on the Deep House Space at 12 p.m. We're all about music. We spend so much time on the spaces thing. You're not even getting paid yet. So we're all about music and the love for the music and the artists that we have. So thank you to everyone. It's been a pleasure. Please enjoy the rest of your evening and good night. Good night from my side. I saw Sabrina, you unmuted. Would you like to say anything?
Good night to everyone. And thanks for joining us. Good night.
She said it. Good night and thanks for joining us. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.